Hi folks, recently I put a poll out to my Facebook group, Science-Based Fitness and Nutrition for over 50, to choose among 3 topics that I would do a research summary, a recap video for, and the winner was male-female nutrition differences, requirement differences for older athletes. So I found a great narrative review, and I cite and link it in the description, so I encourage you to check it out if you want more detail. I kind of had to go through a couple of different levels of summary to keep this down to just a few minutes, so it may sound a little disjointed, but I tried to hit the most important and relevant high points. It isn't specifically, this narrative review is not specifically for over 50 athletes. However, there are mentions of our age group tangentially, and the safe assumption is if there were not specific differences called out based on age level, then it's safe to assume that there are no significant ones. Okay, so let me get started. So male fitness nutrition requirement differences, I said for older athletes for the topic, but this is a narrative review that does not distinguish, as I said, for older athletes. Okay, so differences between male and female athletes are both physiological and behavioral. Physiological differences include substrate or macro, fat, protein, and carbohydrates, utilization, thermoregulation, fatigability, soreness/recovery, and body composition. Hormonal fluctuations during the menstrual cycle, primarily estrogen and progesterone, affect nutrition needs with an increase in energy demands depending on training intensity and accumulated time and body composition goals. Behavioral differences include goals. Many males, for instance, want to be bigger and stronger, while many females want to be leaner. Of course, there are exceptions to that rule. Men may overconsume calories, and females often underconsume calories required for peak performance and health. Women experience greater fat and protein metabolism, energy expenditure, and possibly appetite during the luteal phase, days 14 through 28 of the menstrual cycle. Enhanced muscle glycogen storage and up to 10% enhanced endurance performance may also occur during this phase. For higher intensity modes, increased carbohydrate consumption may be appropriate during the luteal phase. No significant differences for strength or power performance differences have been noted during the menstrual cycle. Women with a greater proportion of type 1 muscle fibers are less easily fatigued in lower weight, slower multiple contraction work than men when measures were equalized for muscle cross-sectional volume. Greater muscle damage and inflammation has been observed for women in the mid-luteal phase of the menstrual cycle when running for 90 minutes at 70% of VO2 max. Nutrition and rest considerations should be factored in during the follicular phase, days 1 through 13 of the menstrual cycle, as recovery can be compromised. Women report lower sweat volume and delayed time to perspiration while in hotter environments than men as a primary thermoregulatory difference. Increased fluid consumption should be considered as a result. Increased blood flow and lower metabolic acidosis, especially during intermittent higher intensity exercise, may allow women to enjoy shorter recovery intervals than their male counterparts. No significant fat loss differences are observed when normalized for body size and body fat percentages, but men lost more visceral intra-organ, as opposed to subcutaneous just under the skin, fat. Women displayed more muscle volume retention while on a calorie-restrictive diet. Last point, bone mineral density losses, more prevalent in older female athletes, suggest that a calcium-rich diet and resistance training are critical to delaying onset and minimizing severity of osteopenia and osteoporosis. So to summarize, because of male-female differences and changing biological conditions during various phases of the menstrual cycle, women should consider sex and phase-specific energy needs, substrate percentages, and nutrient timing for optimal athletic performance.